Dear students, welcome back to our online class, Bangabandhu College e-classroom online class platform. I am Zinat Sultana, lecturer, English Department, Bangabandhu College, Rajshahi. Today I am going to take your English first paper. On the continuity of our online class, you already have completed a number of class on this source. Though it is my first class, you already have completed the first 5 units on this paper. Today I am going to take your 6th unit named Adolescence. You know, in Adolescence, in this unit, there are 4 lessons. The first lesson is the storm and stress of adolescence. From the title of this chapter, we have to know what is adolescence. Firstly, we should know on this word adolescence. Generally, the people who are normally 13 to 18 years old, they are called adolescents. According to WHO, that is the World Health Organization, adolescence is the period in human growth and development that occurs after childhood and before adulthood. So, it is one of the most critical transitory period in human life. Biological process derive many aspects on this growth and development, with the onset of puberty making the passage from childhood to adolescence. The biological determinants, biological determinants of adolescence are fairly universal, that we see very fairly. Though the duration and defining characteristics of this period may vary across time, cultures, and socio-economic situation. We know that very well. For example, we see that in our society, puberty comes earlier than before. Now, people marry late and their sexual attitudes and behavior are different from their grandparents and even their parents. Actually, in this case, education, urbanization, spread of global communication, and like these all factors are responsible for this change. So, the biological, not only biological factors, all these factors are responsible for the change. So, here we see that how the change occur on this sector. Now, here we see the time of adolescence. The time of adolescence. If we divide our every human life, we see that we must pass through several stages to become adult. Firstly, infancy period, then early childhood, later childhood, and adolescence. Infancy. From the word infancy, we know that the child, which a newborn baby and to age 2 years old, is called infancy period. Then comes early childhood. Generally, the children who are 3 to 8 years old, they are called early childhood children. And then comes later childhood. Actually, this childhood period is divided into 2 parts, early childhood and later childhood. The children who are normally 9 to 12 years old are called later childhood. After that comes adolescence period, and they are adolescents. We already said that the children who are 13 to 18 years old are called adolescents, and the persons who are 18 and 18 years over are called adults. So, adolescence, 2 words, adolescence and adolescents. The people who are crossing over adolescence period, they are called adolescent. ADOLESCENT, adolescent, and adolescence, it is noun. Adolescence is the time of preparation for adulthood. Besides physical and sexual maturation, this period prepares several key development which learns how to cope with the practical life, like movement towards social and economic independence, development of identity, the acquisition of skills needed to carry out adult relationships and role, and the capacity for abstract reasoning. So, this period is very important to being an adult person. It is not only physically determinants, it also the preparatory time for being a complete man, that is an adult person who can cope up with the practical life. So it is very critical time in human lifespan. Now we see the challenges of adolescence. As we already said that adolescence, it is very transitory period and it transforms a boy or a child to be a pure complete man. So it is the people who are adolescents, they are not only they are not too child dish attitude, and they are not a complete man. So it is very transitory period. Here we see, as adolescence is a time of puberty, this transitory period is very sensitive. Adolescents are different both from young children and adults. They are not fully capable of complex concepts, and the relationship between behavior and consequences or the degree to control they have over health decision making. Many adolescents face pressure to use alcohol, cigarettes, or the other drugs and to initiate sexual relationship, putting themselves at high risk for traditional and intentional and unintentional injuries. As they are not very young children, they are totally different from young children and totally different from adults, so they cannot they are not practical. So they this time their emotion is very important. They give importance on their emotional feeling, so they have to face some challenge. So here we should give proper environment to adolescents. Adolescence depends on their families. Actually, we know that as it is a period, very transitory period, they are vulnerable. So they depend on their families, their communities, schools, health service, and their workplace to learn widely the skills that can help them to cope with the pressures they face and make a successful transition from childhood to adulthood. So this time is very vulnerable time. So they are very they feel very they depend on their families, or they depend to their friends whom they can rely on them. Here adults have, so we see that adults who are adult in their families or in their society, or in maybe it is their education institutes, they have a unique opportunities and they can play a vital role to influence on these adolescents. They have responsibilities. The adult persons have responsibilities to promote adolescent development and adjustment, and also to intervene effectively when problem arise. So we should be very positive, very careful, very sensitive to adolescents. So this is the main theme of this lesson. I think it will help you to prepare your studies. Nothing more than today. Thank you very much.